The year is 1799. The sun blazes overhead, casting a golden hue over the sprawling sands of the Nile Delta. A faint breeze stirs the dust, revealing the difficult labour of men dressed in military uniforms, their muscles straining under the relentless Egyptian heat. Something lies hidden beneath the sand, an artifact that will change the world of historical sciences forever. After eluding a British fleet and capturing the port of Malta, General Napoleon Bonaparte's grand expedition into Egypt was now in full swing. The French army landed in Egypt on July 1st, 1798. When Napoleon landed in Egypt, he was accompanied by 35,000 men, but it wasn't only military personnel that were present. Napoleon also brought a contingent of scientists, engineers, and scholars who were tasked with studying Egyptian culture, history, and natural environment. This group of intellectuals, known as the savants, played a significant role in Napoleon's efforts to present the campaign as a civilizing mission, rather than just a military conquest. Napoleon saw the expedition as an opportunity to study and document ancient Egyptian civilization, which was viewed as one of the cradles of Western culture. He wanted to bring modern science to Egypt and advance knowledge about its history, geography, and natural resources, and he used the savants to achieve this. One man who accompanied Napoleon in Egypt would go on to make one of the most significant discoveries in archaeological history and immortalize himself for the years to come. In 1793, Pierre-François Bouchard began his military career as a sergeant major in the Grenadiers de Paris, fighting in Champagne and Belgium. Bouchard was an educated man, studying philosophy and mathematics before joining the military. In 1794, Bouchard continued to aid the French military after being transferred to the National School of Aerostatics, where he taught mathematics and worked on military balloons. Furthering his contributions to the military, Bouchard then entered the prestigious École Polytechnique in Paris, studying subjects like geometry and fortification. It was ultimately this that led to Bouchard's studies being cut short when he was called up to Napoleon's Egyptian expedition as an engineering officer in the Savants in 1798. It wasn't until the summer of 1799 that Bouchard would make one of the most remarkable discoveries in human history. Bouchard's team was tasked with fortifying the small port city of Rashid, known to the Europeans as Rosetta, to defend against British naval forces. Amid the sweltering heat and relentless work, they unearthed an artifact that would change the course of history. As Bouchard and his men dug into the ancient earth to lay the foundations for new fortifications, the clang of a shovel striking something solid echoed through the excavation site. Intrigued, Bouchard ordered his men to be careful as they cleared the dirt away. What emerged from the soil was a large, dark stone slab inscribed with mysterious symbols and texts. Bouchard, though not a scholar himself, recognized the significance of the stone. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. The top band was carved in intricate hieroglyphics, the sacred script of ancient Egyptian priests. The middle section contained a more flowing script, which the savants identified as Demotic, the common script used by the ordinary people of Egypt. The bottom was written in Greek, the language of the Ptolemaic rulers who had governed Egypt centuries earlier. Realizing its potential importance, he immediately reported the find to his superiors. The stone was carefully transported to Cairo, where the savants eagerly examined it. Word of the find spread quickly, and when the British forces eventually defeated the French in Egypt, they claimed the Rosetta Stone as a prize of war. It was transported to London and presented to the British Museum, where it has remained ever since. Back in France, Jean-François Champollion, a brilliant linguist with an insatiable passion for ancient languages, had heard of the Rosetta Stone and was captivated by its potential. Champollion was convinced that the key to understanding the ancient texts lay in the Greek inscription, which could serve as a direct translation of the hieroglyphic and demotic scripts. Champollion dedicated himself to the study of the Rosetta Stone with intense passion. Champollion realized that hieroglyphics were not purely ideographic, which is the use of specific symbols or characters to represent ideas or concepts directly, rather than representing the sounds of language. Emojis are an example of this in modern times. Instead, the hieroglyphics included phonetic elements, which are sounds. This breakthrough allowed him to approach the decipherment from a new perspective. Building on this work, Champollion focused on the oval shapes called cartouches, which contained royal names. By comparing these with the Greek text, he successfully identified names like Ptolemy and Cleopatra. This provided him with the starting point for understanding the phonetic values of certain hieroglyphs. Champollion's intimate knowledge of Coptic, which he considered a descendant of ancient Egyptian, allowed him to make connections between the hieroglyphic signs and their likely pronunciations. This was crucial in reconstructing the sounds of ancient Egyptian words. In 1822, Champollion published his famous Lettre à Médecine, a letter to the secretary of the Académie des Inscriptions et Belles-Lettres. In this document, he outlined his method and provided evidence for his decipherment. He demonstrated how the hieroglyphic script was a combination of phonic and ideographic elements, using specific examples from the Rosetta Stone. I could read the entire translation to you, but if you're anything like me, then you'd probably struggle to understand what it's actually talking about. I'll leave the translated script up on the screen here if you wish to pause and read. For those of you who just want a quick summary of the text, the Rosetta Stone catalogues some of King Ptolemy's accomplishments while he ruled in Egypt. Giving gifts to temples, granting tax reductions, restoring peace to Egypt after a rebellion are among the most significant. The stone also states that in return for these services, the Council of Priests pledges to construct new statues of the king, provide better decorations for his shrines, organise festivals for his birthday and day of accession to the throne. The decree also states that it should be inscribed in stone using hieroglyphics, demotic script and Greek, and placed in temples throughout Egypt. The Rosetta Stone was basically a form of propaganda, promoting the cult of the king. The stone's text provides invaluable insights into the political, religious, and social framework of Ptolemaic Egypt. Champollion's decipherment of the Rosetta Stone's texts opened the door to understanding ancient Egyptian civilization, language, and culture. The stone, which had lain buried for centuries, became the key to a lost world. Its discovery on that hot summer day in 1799 remains one of the most significant archaeological finds in history, bridging the gap between the modern world and the ancient past. The Rosetta Stone, now a symbol of linguistic and cultural scholarship, continues to inspire curiosity and wonder. Its journey from the sands of Egypt to the halls of the British Museum is a testament to the enduring human quest for knowledge and the profound connections that artifacts of the past can forge across time and space.